Hey Brat Squad, it's executive producer Jilly Bean here, standing in for co-hosts Jonathan and Vanessa at the 2021 Women's March here in New York City. Today, women are marching all over the country to protest Texas's new restrictive abortion legislation, which bans abortions after 6 weeks and gives anyone the ability to sue those involved in or remotely related to facilitating an abortion. Now other states are deciding whether to pass similar laws. The organizers of today's march say women in America are at grave risk of losing their reproductive rights and freedoms, and that's why they are marching today. Let's go see what some of the people here at today's event have to say about what's at stake. Let's go.
There is no democracy if people cannot determine their own health for their bodies, their own reproductive choices. That is the truth. There is no democracy unless we can control our bodies. It's so outrageous. I can't believe that we are still fighting this fight. But we have to win. I'm with you every inch of the way.
I'm here right now with Amanda, Christina, and Victoria. So thank you for joining me today, ladies, and talking to us. So let's just start with, why are you here today?
For abortion access for everybody. This is ridiculous that we're even having to fight this right now. So we're here to send a message to everybody in the United States that this needs to stop. Until we acknowledge that it's all connected by the same thread, that it is all in benefit of like one particular group and in benefit of capitalism and like keeping people down, until we like really acknowledge that and start to break it apart, like nothing's gonna change.
Nothing will change, right. And I actually have had an abortion. Best decision of my life. You know, I was lucky enough that it was safe, it was accessible, it was not a problem. But I can't believe that the same people who made it illegal in Texas won't wear a mask. Like, they feel like that's abridging their civil liberties, but they think it's fine to tell a woman what to do with her uterus.
And what are they going to do with that baby? They don't help raise that baby.
They could not give two shits about that baby once it's born.
Why are you here today?
I'm here today because I've been a fighter for a woman's right to choose since before the Supreme Court decision. I'm 77. I grew up at a time when abortion was illegal, when the fear of getting pregnant overrode so much in your life. This is before there was even the pill. When women had to go for illegal abortions that could be very dangerous to their lives. Yeah, it's been a lifelong struggle for me.
Why are you here today?
As a nurse practitioner, someone that works in the medical field, primarily with women's health and sexual reproductive health, it was really important for me to come out here and just represent women, people that have vaginas, and support them and stand up and fight for their rights, and to really let the world know, to let this country know that we do not stand for or with the bans that are happening in Texas, in Arkansas, and other extremely conservative states. So we just wanted to come out here and show our support and let people know that we stand in solidarity.
Well, this is, you know, like, you have to support other people in your life. You know, you have, like, I have my partner, I have my mother, I have my sisters, and, like, they all have rights, and, like, we shouldn't be the stand alley by as people are taking them away from them. So I'm just here to support.
All the responsibility should not just be on the woman at all. This is unacceptable. It takes two people to create a fetus, to create a baby.
Why are you here today?
I am here marching for the rights of my granddaughter, for her future, of all of the future of the next generation of women.
Oh, I'm here with my family. I'm here with my niece who's 7 months old. I'm here because I myself had 2 abortions, and because I had access to that, I'm here to talk about it. And I'm here because I was not ready for many reasons, health reasons, financial reasons, and I'm now living what I believe is where my best life right now, and I could not have had that if I did not have access to abortion.
Were you surprised by the Texas ruling?
I would say in a way I wasn't surprised. For over 40 years, since Roe v. Wade, the governments, various governments in many states have been whittling away at the rights of a woman to choose. They've been making it very difficult for doctors, saying they had to be affiliated with hospitals, for young people to get parents' permission, for enforced counseling where you had to look at a sonogram. And so today, in 90% of the counties in the United States, there is no legalized abortion. That's how restrictive it is today.
Were you shocked when the Texas law came down?
I was absolutely shocked. I was 21 in 1973 when Roe versus Wade became law. And it was so significant to me and all of my friends and all the women that I knew. So to hear that it would be rolled back after all the progress that we made, it was just devastating to think. I thought we were really well protected, and we're not.
What do you want to say to the Supreme Court? What do you want to say to Congress?
Well,
Let it out.
First of all, what are they going to do when their mistresses get pregnant?
They'll do what they want anyway. That's the problem. Like, you're making a decision for other people when it's something that you would happily participate in secretly behind like closed doors because it's something that you can provide yourself access with. But it is something that should be available to everybody.
And 15 weeks, a lot of times women don't know that they're pregnant.
It's also a huge decision.
Yeah.
So to act like it's a flippant choice on anybody's part, regardless of the number of weeks that somebody has been pregnant for, like, that's a huge choice. You have to decide, is this even a situation that I want to participate in? And maybe that's not going to happen at 15 weeks.
What do you want to say to the Supreme Court?
What I'd really like to say is I wish the right to abortion, I wish the original decision of the Supreme Court was not based on medical issues. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, it should have been based on the 14th Amendment. That would have given the woman the right to equal treatment under the law and would not have involved doctors. So I'm hoping we get the most favorable ruling, even in terms of Roe v. Wade, but I would like the whole decision to be changed because the reason they've been able to go after so many rights is because it's strictly a medical decision with you and your doctor, and it shouldn't be. It should be the woman alone.
What is it you want to tell the Supreme Court justices?
Leave women alone. Leave sexual reproductive rights in the hands of the individual woman. The government does not need to be controlling our sexual reproductive rights. They don't.
You cannot take away the rights of women. It is our right, a reproductive rights, it's health rights, it's family rights. You cannot do this to women. Women are the core of our nation, and to discriminate against them is taking away the rights of all of us.
Can you talk about, as of course abortion affects all women, but how it affects women of color and immigrant women?
Well, from the very beginning, the federal government put restrictions on Medicaid, which is used by poor women, women of color, immigrant women who cannot afford to go even for a legal abortion. So from the very beginning, they've gone after them. In addition, because abortion is so restricted now, women in rural communities have to travel miles and miles and miles to get an abortion, and that affects, again, poor women and women of color and young women.
So I feel like it affects all women, but it especially affects poor women, women of color, women who really need the access to safe and legal abortion and can't pay a doctor or pay somebody to fly them out of state to have an abortion.
Black women, immigrant women are going to suffer the worst. They're going to suffer the most. You're taking away access to resources, access to care, and it's absolutely unacceptable, and it needs to stop. Abortions, the majority of sexual reproductive rights, the majority of family planning is not abortion care at all. It's preventative, safe care for the woman.
If abortion being illegal, what is that going to do to people who are already afraid of the system?
A lot of women are going to die. Period. That's what it boils down to. When you take away access to care and access to resources, people are going to seek alternative measures that are just not safe, and that's not what we want. Your immigration status shouldn't determine whether or not you have access to health care or not. You're a human being. Being a human means that you should have access to health care. I mean, we are fortunate that we live in a city, and I practice in a city that is considered a sanctuary city and provides a lot of care to immigrant women, to low-income women, to minority women at little to no cost. And our laws here are not as restrictive. But New York City, is a minority in comparison to the rest of the country. And if we don't stop these laws, if we don't stop these bans, it's just going to be detrimental to women, families, and communities.
So you could see the sign, how I feel about that. A lot of pro-life people are only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about people who cannot afford that secret abortion in a special place where people can't drive out of state to get an abortion. And we have to do something to stop it, to protect the laws and the people that it affects. On one hand, we get upset that people aren't working, that they're not contributing, but we're doing everything to oppress them by not giving them the rights, healthcare rights, abortion rights, so that they can thrive in this country. So I don't understand how you can be for one thing and not for another.
Okay, squad, thank you very much for joining us today at the Women's March 2021 here in New York City. We spoke to a lot of people, we heard a lot of stories, and I think if we didn't know before, we realized after today why it is so important to make sure Roe versus Wade stays on the books. Thanks so much, squad. Back to the studio.